Starting off our list, at number 10 we have Superman. He was the first popular superhero ever made, which made him have to be a prerequisite for this list in total, as he undoubtedly laid the groundwork for all that came after him. He is also a spokesperson for justice, and that is something to truly admire. He happily uses his powers to serve and protect the people of his adopted planet Earth. At number 9, it was a hard choice for me. Should I choose Hawkeye or Black Lightning? But ultimately, Hawkeye did not make the list, because while both try to protect their families and balance their work lives, only one of them could truly make the list, and Black Lightning ultimately had more going for him. Black Lightning has some important lessons inside of the show and inside of his story in general about fighting for equality, but doing so by leading by example. And Jefferson Pierce, his alter ego, definitely does that as principal. He tries to show the kids of his school that there are other ways to earn money and respect instead of falling into a life of crime. And he also, with the help of his daughters, fights for peace and equality. And he does this in such a peaceful and respectable manner that it's impossible not to look at that and say that's inspiring. He is a great character with a great superhero family. Let's just say his daughters also deserve this same spot on this list. At number 8, we have Iron Man. Tony Stark is a prime example that anyone is capable of change. He started out as a greedy and selfish man, but over time he started to take responsibility for his past mistakes and made amends for them. He even showed how much he changed when his company started to shift focuses from creating weapons to creating green energy to power the world. And when he sacrificed it for what was right, he sacrificed everything at the end. Iron Man is a story that we could all look to for inspiration. While we might have made mistakes in the past, we can change them, we can make amends, and we can become a good person. And that is why Iron Man made this list. At number 7, we have our most controversial pick. We have a character from Star Wars. Do Star Wars characters count as superheroes? I don't know. By definition, I think they do. So we have Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka was a great Jedi for the majority of her life, and she truly believed in the Jedi's true duties of keeping peace, fighting the wrongs in the universe, and helping those in need. This is why when she finally was able to see what the rest of the galaxy was seeing, she left the Order. The Jedi had fallen, not due to Sidious and his plans, but due to their allegiance to war and the Republic and its corruption, instead of doing what was right. Ahsoka loved democracy, and the Jedi stood for democracy, but they also stood by while it was dying, and ultimately that's what led to their death. But due to Ahsoka's caring nature, she wouldn't harm her clones when they were executing Order 66, and she even saved one of their lives and freed them from Sidious's control, showing that she truly cared for everybody and everything, clone life or not. No matter what it was, she cared about their life and she did not want to cause unnecessary harm. She even started a rebellion to fight the tyranny of the Galactic Empire and restore democracy. The Empire was causing slavery, and she wanted to put an end to that. She wanted to restore justice for everyone, and she was always fighting for others and what she thought was right. But she also fought for her friends, and she showed that she had the biggest heart in all of Star Wars. She had the most character development, all around just the best characters in that entire universe. She is the epitome of light and acts out of selflessness and love for others, like any true Jedi would. That is why Ahsoka Tano made this list. At number 6, we have Spider-Man. No matter what Spider-Man TV show or movie you think reigns supreme, one thing is true about the character. Spider-Man blends together heart, action, and comedy. He was a victim of bullying growing up, and when he got his powers, instead of using them for revenge on his bully, he stayed true to himself, and he dodged the bully's attacks and never resorted to bullying him back. In fact, he had such a big heart that when the rest of the universe became zombies, including him, and he sadly attacked those he loved most, he was regretful for what he did and ashamed. And ultimately, when the time came, he tried to save another universe from the same fate that his had suffered from. Spider-Man is the biggest hero in my opinion because he has the biggest heart and he truly does care. Spider-Man is someone we can all relate to as well. He is just like us in a variety of ways, and he is so relatable. But it is his heart that we should truly look up to. We should try to be more like him. At number 5, we have Captain America. Captain America is a true patriot who shows some of America's best attributes. He shows the fight for justice and an unending drive to fight for what's right. Captain America was so passionate about fighting for his country and against the tyranny of Hydra that he wanted to serve despite all of his limitations and shortcomings. And when he finally got his powers, he didn't want to do what he was told because he couldn't just sit around while those he knew and loved and his fellow Americans and all those who opposed Hydra were suffering. So he disobeyed his orders and he fought to save everybody he could. He would stop at nothing to see justice be done. And that is why Captain America is on this list. He's a true patriot and he truly represents American ideals. At number 4, we have Storm. Storm is an awesome character with an awesome set of power. She was a great leader for the team. When someone had to step up, she did. And she always did what was right, trying to push for equality for the mutants. She was a groundbreaking character as well, as she was the first female black superhero. And she was so popular that she even became the leader of the X-Men a few times. And her character always had this great impact on me, and I always looked at her as one of the most amazing X-Men. So when she unfortunately died in X-Men Days of Future Past, I was devastated. That was the only scene in all TV, movie, any entertainment that almost made me cry. I've never cried, still didn't, but I almost did there because it was so sad to see her die. She's always been willing to sacrifice everything for her people, and that is truly inspiring. And that is why Storm has made this list. At number 3, we have Batman. Just like all of us, Batman has no special powers, but instead he saw a problem in the world, and he wanted to change it. He put on his cape and cowl to fight for justice, and while he uses tactics that sometimes are morally gray, he refuses to take a life because he knows it would make him no better than villains. He also has plans capable of defeating every single member of his universe, and even himself, to ensure that justice will always prevail over what is evil. And that is inspiring, but also what's just as inspiring is how relatable he is to us. Because he's just a human. He has no mutation, he has no power. He just has his actions. And his actions are always that of what is right. And he is willing to sacrifice everything to try to bring justice. And that is so inspiring. His actions are made so much more inspiring to us because he is human. And he fights these staggering odds. He fights against people with powers. But he still was able to hold his own. And that is why Batman is on this list. At our second spot, we have Professor X. He is one of the most powerful mutants that, should he have chosen the path that Magneto did, he could have killed every single human on the planet. He would be an unstoppable threat. But he decided he should fight for what's right instead of causing chaos and destruction to those that he deemed did him and his people wrong. And he knew that not every human was evil. He can see into the minds of people, and he knows that there's a lot of hate and there's a lot of problems in this world. He's even been able to experience the pain that others have gone through, such as how he was able to experience the pain of going through the concentration camp through Magneto. But yet he knows that people are still good, and he's willing to fight for what light is inside of every human being, and that is inspiring. His constant fight for what's the best of humanity and his fighting for equality is why he's made this list. He even led a team to fight for equality, creating the X-Men, all whom want to be equal to the humans, all of whom are fighting for what's right and not causing chaos and not causing destruction and stopping those who would. And that is why Professor X is our number 2 spot. At our number 1 spot, we have our everyday heroes who fight to keep our country running smoothly. They fight to serve and protect us, to help us when we're sick, and just all around selflessly to make sure that each and every person has their freedoms and rights. And it's not often enough that we realize everyday people can be heroes. If you're doing what's right and you're trying to create a positive change, then you are being a hero. Especially in these pandemic times we're in, especially in these times where it's harder to speak out and be a hero. So if you fight for what's right, and you fight to keep freedom, and you fight to keep order, then you are a hero, and we thank you.